meeting of the Butler County Commissioners. Would you please rise for a moment of solemn prayer, followed by the pledge of allegiance to our nation's flag. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amy, has anyone signed in for public comment?
Yes. We have several people. I'd like to remind speakers to please state your name and your township of residence, and you will receive 3 minutes. The first on the list is Matthew Deck.
Good morning, my name is Matthew Deck. I'm from Butler. And before going any further, I would like to straighten out 2 things. These matters most certainly pertain to county business, as they have both been brought up in previous meetings by members of this board, as well as making front page news. And 2, according to Robert's Rules of Order, there is no authority found indicating the solicitor has a right to act as the board chair. Mr. McCarrier is the chair and should not shirk his duties upon others. Mr. English has interrupted me several times in times past for what he thinks is inappropriate, when the subject matter which was espoused is the same making front page news now. Mr. Solicitor, you are not my attorney. You therefore do not address me nor interrupt me unless you are the chair. If you feel that you have something to say, you raise your hand and address the chair, not me. And then the chair will address me. With these preliminaries out of the way, let's get down to business. At the June 19th public meeting, Commissioner Eckstein raised valid concerns over the elimination of the jury commissioners and the possibility of tampering with the jury pool in his upcoming defamation lawsuit. I believe Mr. Eckstein is spot on. McCarrier and Pinkerton claimed the lawyers, not the judges, select the jury. This is true. But the plausibly tainted pool from which they would choose would be selected by court administration overseen by President Judge Dorr, who has attacked the commissioner in times past. Here are some of the improprieties. 1, Judge Dorr was accused of impropriety and corruption like unto what occurred in Luzerne County, and an investigation was requested upon his conduct.
Mr. Deck, unsubstantiated allegations against Judge Durr are not appropriate comment.
This right here.
I am the chairman, and what you bring up, Mr. Dorr was not charged with anything like happened in
He was
Luzerne County.
accused, but he did make statements.
Luzerne County, the judges were tried and they were found guilty. Butler County, Judge Dorr has never been tried for anything that you're alleging.
Once again,
So would
he
you
was
please
accused
sit down?
of
You're out of order. Sit down. You're done.
Anything to cover it up.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Daniel Goslin.
Good morning, Chairman. My name is Daniel Goslin. I reside in Center Township, and I came here this morning because I was really excited about this story I heard about Carlisle and the school district in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. They invested in a solar array consisting of over 5,100 solar panels to help power their school district. And this public works was funded by about half grants, and half of it is actually being paid for by itself through the money that is generated by these solar generators. And a couple of the statistics that I thought were quite incredible were that this 1 6-acre array produces 1,500,000 kilowatts hours of electricity per year, which is enough to generate power for 16% of the school district's needs. This is equivalent to the capability to power 150 homes, and it reduces CO2 emissions by the equivalent of 178 cars. And I'm really excited about this. I look forward to kind of helping bring this to Butler, and I think it would be a great way to diversify Butler's energy needs. And the first thing that we all need to do is become kind of familiar with how this is possible, how it would work. And that's why I would like to invite you chairmen, your families, and actually everyone in Butler. I have flyers here for a fossil-free energy fair that's going to be presented at the Carousel Shelter at Alameda Park on July 27th from noon to 5 p.m. And at this event, there's going to be opportunities for anyone interested to learn about how this is possible, how it works in Carlisle, and what we can all do, both as public officers and as citizens, to help provide these exciting energy solutions to Butler County. I would love to see this happen here in our schools. I'd love to see our natural resources being more put to work, and I'd be very excited to have everyone here involved as well. So with your permission, I'd like to come forward and present you with some flyers.
Yes, very interesting. Thank you.
And everyone is welcome to bring their families. It should be a fun event. And one of our highlight features will be free hot dogs cooked by solar generators to put proof behind the theory that this can be a helpful thing for Butler County. I thank you for your time.
Free hot dogs.
Can you just repeat the date, just so the viewers?
Yes, absolutely. I have more flyers here, but it is July 27th from noon to 5 p.m. at the beautiful Carousel Shelter at Alameda Park. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mark Konetsky.
Good morning, Mark.
Kind of rainy this morning, but at least we got a break to get in the building. A couple of things that happened last meeting. I did like the fact that we eliminated the jury commissioner position. I don't think we needed them. The biggest thing Clinton could tell me that he did was stuff envelopes. And I think we got our people that can do it a little cheaper than $72,000 a year. I also like the fact that we're buying property in Cranberry Township for a new DJ's office or district justice. I agree. That should save us money in the long run. I think that's a great idea. I was at a redevelopment authority meeting. Commissioner Pinkerton was there too. I was the one who expressed I wasn't comfortable with the fact that the city is going to own 40% of a Marriott hotel. If that happens, if it goes through, it's not a definite at this point. They're getting a $2 million grant from the state, and then the city is going to go out and sell $2 million in bonds to fund $4 million of their $10 million development costs. I just don't think that's fair. When we have 2 more hotels going in the township, and I should say one's a Hampton Inn, to be fair, and the other one is a Holiday Inn Express. And they're not paying any, they're paying all their own development costs. You know, they get a big property, the motel here, obviously they're getting free property. It's more expensive to build in the city. I don't know that. Utilities are very handy. They're sitting on top of it. The biggest thing when you ever put a building in, to me, is sewage. And it's in an ideal location for that. It's right there by Cups also. Everything shouldn't have a problem at all. Like I said, I just don't think it's fair to subsidize one hotel over the other 2. And it does worry me that the city is going to own 40% of a hotel. I mean, just this reality is part of it. For inspections, is there something negative coming out that the city should say? Are they going to come forward with that? Because it costs them money to do that. I have one last one, and I don't know if I want to say it.
Go ahead.
It's about you.
Go ahead. What made me think that? Go ahead.
Commissioner Eckstein, if you would please, during your report period, I very much value to listen to what you have to say, but if you could stick to county business, I would, and stay off your personal business. I mean, it's okay to tell me. If you want to talk, I'll listen to you. I don't think I can help you, but if I can, I will. But, you know, I enjoy talking to you. I always have.
That's time, Mark.
Okay, thank you. sir.
Thank you, Mark. We always appreciate your comments, and you understand that the city is not affiliated with the county in this development down here. This is strictly a county or a city project, and we have no say or authority over that. Thank you.
I'd like to say this, I'd like to respond to that. Look, you're entitled to your opinion on what's county business and what's not. Everybody's allowed to have that opinion. I feel that me being up here, independent, unencumbered by lawsuits, to do my job is county business, okay? That's where you and I disagree with that. And you're allowed to have your opinion on that. I think it's intimidation tactics, okay? That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mark. You had your say. Thank you.
That's all, Mr. Chairman.
All right, let's move on then. We have minutes from our...
Can we recess for 3 minutes? I'm having an allergy attack. I just have to go get medication.
Can I have a motion to recess?
For just 3 minutes.
I'll
I do
make
take
a
my
motion to
medication.
recess for 5 minutes. Is there a second? All in
Okay.
favor? Okay.
Thanks.
We'll recess for
I'll be
5
right back.
minutes. July 17th and June 19th. The minutes have been printed and circulated. Is there any objections or corrections? Make a motion to approve. We have a motion to approve them as printed. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. The minutes are approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make an announcement that the Board of Commissioners met in executive session on Monday, July 8th at 3 p.m. in the Commissioner's office to discuss a personal matter within the mapping department. We have no old business today, Commissioners. We do have one proclamation. It's a Butler County proclamation for the 6th Annual Celebration of Collaboration, July 11th, 2013. Whereas the mission of the Butler Collaborative for Families is to build a unified and integrated network of services by using a multi-agency approach to break down barriers and strengthen the system of care for the children and families of Butler County. And whereas Butler County is fortunate to have a wealth of organizations dedicated to partnering with families to meet their needs and the needs of their children. And whereas the Butler Collaborative for Families clearly recognizes that children and families in our community are provided with more effective services when organizations work together in a collaborative manner. And whereas the Butler Collaborative for Families would like to celebrate the spirit of collaboration that is evident in our community by hosting the Celebration of Collaboration event to be held at the Carousel Shelter of Alameda Park on Thursday, July 11th, from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Now therefore, the Butler County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims July 11th, 2013 as the 6th Annual Celebration of Collaboration in Butler County. In response, we call upon citizens, collaborative committees, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools to recommit to the goal of meaningful collaboration for the purpose of better serving children and families in our community. And here to accept the proclamation is Bill Halley, the Executive Director of Grace Youth and Family. Would you like to come forward, Bill?
Bill, we're happy to present you with this proclamation. Congratulations on all you do, and thank you for that service that you provide to our community.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Honestly, I'm here.
If you'd like to step to the podium, or you can say whatever you like.
Oh, whatever it was.
Well, within reason.
I'll keep it very brief. Just a thank you to Carmine and the Human Services Department, United Way, for the funding that they helped to provide to keep the Butler Collaborative for Families going. For fiduciary CCR, who provides our coordinator. But it's really, I'm here on behalf of the Executive Committee and all the members, which is all the social human service business and the nonprofit committee in Butler County, who have really created a culture of collaboration in Butler County that makes us really an apple of many people's eyes and an admiration in the state. So just want to thank you for your support, thank you for the proclamation, and thank all those that make it possible and continue to work together for the youth and families of Butler County. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Under new business, the first item, Sheriff Sloop.
Morning, Commissioners. Morning, Mike. Just asking for your permission to execute a trade of revolvers and ammunition no longer used by the office, to purchase additional tasers and related equipment and usable ammunition at no cost to the county. There were 3 bids that we sought out. One was for a trade-in value for the revolvers that had been left over prior to the purchase of the semi-automatic weapons. The second part of that was to receive a quote, or a bid, if you will, on 3 patrol rifles. And the third bid was to have a trade-in value for ammunition that's no longer used by the office. The officer store, which is part of the Whitmer Public Safety Group, had the best prices on all 3 parts of the bid. So I'm asking for your permission to execute that trade.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there a discussion? Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Mike.
Next item, under the District Attorney's Office, Detective Scott Wisconsin.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Scott.
What we're asking for, Commissioners, is for you to adopt the resolution for the Pennsylvania DUI, the driving under the influence grant that we've applied for, and we're awaiting to finish the paperwork to receive the rest of the grant funds. The grant's an amount of $35,000, and so what we're asking for is the board to adopt the resolution, and what this simply does is allows the chairman of the commissioners to use to sign for the grant, to accept the funds, and to make any authorizations to the chairman.
And Commissioners, this is resolution number 2013-10.
Question on this. Well, first, we have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Question, Scott. Shouldn't the resolution authorize you to apply for the grant also? The way I read this, it just applies, authorizes the chairman to sign.
We had the.
Or was that already approved at a previous meeting?
We did have,
Yes.
we did ask for permission at a previous meeting to apply for the grant.
I apologize.
That's a question. That's a lot of grants we have.
Yes, I believe this is to accept money and
Yes.
to authorize you to sign on behalf.
I'll always sign to accept money. Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thanks,
Have a good
Scott.
day.
Next 2 items under Court Administration, Tom Holman.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Tom.
I have 2 things for you this morning. First, I'm seeking your approval with the Mark Perry Group for him to come in and provide a seminar, which is a continuing seminar for us, to the criminal justice personnel of the court, specifically related to evidence-based practices and what works best. I've asked your approval of that contract. It will be for $2,500.
I'll make the motion. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Is there discussion?
I'd like to ask Tom a question.
Okay.
How many people are coming to that seminar, or?
Well, we hope that there'll be about 80 people there.
80?
Yeah, because it's open to the assistant district attorneys, the public defenders, again, the entire probation staff, and we're opening it to the criminal bar practice in Butler County. So
Okay.
we hope to have up to 80.
Well, I love that, because you divide the 2,500 by 80. You see, you know, and then you don't have to travel anywhere, so it's the savings, not a, so that's terrific. I should have asked you that the other day. I was thinking you were going to say 15 or something, sorry.
Oh, no, we're hoping there's a large number.
Right, and you said you had it before, or?
Well, this is a continuation. The first phase of this went so well, we wanted to bring it back and introduce it to a larger portion of the criminal justice process here in Butler County. So this is a follow-up to his original presentation.
Okay, great, thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Tom.
Yes, sir. The second thing I have for you is our request for you to approve an agreement with the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania and Microsoft Corporation for the transfer of licenses required for the implementation of the County Commissioners Association Unified Case Management System. That is a system that's designed to try and integrate data between the MDJS system, the CPCMS system, which is the magisterial district judges and the criminal court system, and the district attorney and adult probation. What we're doing here, you may recollect that back in March, you approved in principle the going ahead with this, but this is the action that will actually commit us to money. It's about $47,000 over a 3-year period divided by 3, so because we'll pay it in each of 3 years, and then divided between court administration and the district attorney's office. So I'm seeking your approval for that agreement that will transfer the licenses from CCAL to the county.
Is there a cost associated with it?
I'm sorry?
Is there a cost associated with it?
About $47,000 over 3 years.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Next, under facilities and operations, John Campbell.
Morning, Commissioner.
Hi, John.
Today I'll be asking for your approval for a service agreement with Midway Cummings for the prison. They have 3 generators down there. It'll be an annual cost of $4,256.24. This is a decrease of 1 cent from last year. They're going to do inspections on all 3 generators, do visual inspections on the transfer switch, full service, make sure that all the amperage is right. And we'd like to do the auto renewal, and it will not exceed 3% a year.
Okay, I understand that you beat them down pretty good in that price, and we appreciate that.
I tried.
Is there a motion to approve this contract?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Commissioners,
Thanks, John.
for the benefit of the observers, so that people don't think you just beat them down a penny, they actually did present a quote that was significantly higher than last year. We not only arranged for them to meet last year's price instead and drop a penny.
Yeah.
All right, next, under human services, Ms. Amron.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Ann.
I have several contract amendments for the fiscal year 2012-2013. First group are for the Human Services Development Fund, and they're with Catholic Charities, Community Care Connections, and the Lighthouse Foundation. Ask your approval of those 3 contract amendments.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Is there a discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Next, I have the Intellectual Disability Contract Amendments for fiscal year 12-13. They're with the Butler County Community Care Connections, Life Steps, and Center for Community Resources. Ask your approval of those amendments.
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that question.
Okay.
What's the amount of that again? I was looking through the literature and that,
The amount of what?
the amount of those.
The amount of those, the Arthur Butler County, there's an increase of the shelter workshop of $40,923. Supportive employment increase of $5,600.
Oh, we did get it.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's on the letters as well as the.
Yeah, I did get that.
Okay.
That's the one that we came up with money from left over from the block grant.
Yes, these are all
Right.
block grant funds that we're giving out to the providers to help with costs.
No, that's what was stopped here. I thought that was terrific. I thought, as a new director at ARC, and I really, for the Special Olympics and stuff, that I really appreciate your Carmine and them doing that, okay? I just wasn't sure
Right.
that I did see those figures.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for doing that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
You had already approved it. Now it's double approved. Very good.
No, that was the first one we approved.
No, I did mark that you had voted on it.
Oh, well, make a mistake now.
Next, I have mental health contract amendments for fiscal year 12-13, Center for Community Resources, Labor and Lutheran Services, Residential Recovery Services, and Great Bay Center. Ask your approval of those 4.
I'll make the motion. Do we have a second to that?
I'll
motion?
second that.
Discussion? Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ann.
Next, under community action and development, Jim Kennedy.
Good morning.
Good morning, Janine.
We are requesting approval of Resolution 2013-11, authorizing the submission of the 2013 Emergency Solutions Grant application to the PA Department of Community and Economic Development. Butler County is applying for funding in the amount of $181,250 for homeless prevention and rapid rehousing efforts, in addition to funding on behalf of Voice and the Lighthouse Foundation for operations for the Voice Shelter and Safe Harbor. We ask your approval.
I'll make the motion. Is there a second to that motion? I will second it. Is there discussion?
I had a question on that one shared ride. I didn't get a chance to ask you this the other day. The old rate was $9 one-way trip. It went up 19%.
Yes.
Why is it so high?
We did a fairly substantial fare increase with the state, with PennDOT in January, effective January. For the first 6 months of that year, I took the majority of that fare increase to help cover our costs because we were operating at a deficit. That fare increase has turned that deficit around. And my part that I pay for it is on track. But A&R has also been operating at a large deficit as well. So in fair play, we're giving now them a huger piece of that fare increase to help with their deficit. They're operating at a deficit.
Okay, I remember you coming to the Commissioner's office and briefing on this.
Yes.
And this you feel is the best way to work that problem out?
Yes.
Of the negative balances. Okay, I just wanted to it just caught me by surprise when I saw the 19%. Okay, but this solves that problem.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
For now, I should say, for now, because costs are always increasing.
Okay.
Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
We are requesting to ratify the amendment to the 2011-2013 subcontract agreement with the Alliance for Nonprofit Resources for the provision of the Shared Ride Transportation Program. The nature of this amendment is to extend the ending date of the contract to September 30th, 2013, and increase the reimbursement rate for the in-county transportation. And this new rate is for the period July 1st through September 30th of 2013. The old rate, $9 per trip within a zone, or per one-way trip within a zone, with an additional $3.50 for each additional zone crossed. The new rate will be $10.75 per one-way trip within a zone, with the additional $3 per each additional zone crossed. We ask your approval.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Oops, second it, or if we both did at the same time, I'll second it. I think we both did the first same time.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion. Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
We are requesting approval to amend the agreement with Area Agency on Aging for funding trips under the Shared Ride Transportation Program. Nature of this amendment is to increase the contract amount to $149,000. The term of the agreement will remain the same, July 1st, 2012 to June 30th, 2013. We ask your approval.
Do I have a motion? Go ahead.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
We are requesting approval to enter into agreements with the following agencies funding trips under the Shared Ride Transportation Program. The term of the agreements is July 1st, 2013 through June 30th, 2014. Area Agency on Aging, $149,000. The MHMR office for the HSDF funding, $3,000. And then the remaining 5, MHMR, Irene Stacy, American Red Cross, Butler Transit Authority, and the Butler County Housing Authority are all fee-for-service with no contract limit. We ask your approval.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. We have a motion and a second. Is there discussion? Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
We are requesting approval to enter into a contract with Alliance for Nonprofit Resources for services provided under the 2013-2014 Medical Assisted Transportation Program. The term of the contract is July 1st, 2013 through June 30th, 2014, and the amount of the contract will not exceed $2,190,000. This was a typo on my part when I first submitted my agenda to you, so that the contract amount should be $2,190,000. I ask your approval.
Is there a motion? I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Janine, this is not an increase from last year.
It is an increase. 2.1 was the 12-13 contract amount.
Okay.
But due to all the changes, all the things we're going to be doing in transportation, it may be needed. It's not to exceed. So it's a reimbursement. It's not that they're going to expend all of it. It's a reimbursement for expenses.
Thank you. Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
We are requesting approval to submit the 2013-2014 State Food Purchase Program Plan Contract Option Participation Statement to PA Department of Agriculture. This agreement basically authorizes the Department of Agriculture to put 92% of our county's net allocation on account with the commercial food distributor under contract with the Department of Agriculture. And that food distributor is Inwards Poultry. We ask your approval.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? I'll second it. Discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
We are requesting approval to submit the second amendment to the 2012-2013 Community Services Block Grant State Contract to the PA Department of Community and Economic Development. DCD has awarded us a tentative allocation of $270,000 for this calendar year, but is only committing and contracting for $135,000 for the first 2 quarters. This amendment is for a new total 2-year contract in the amount of $405,000. We ask your approval.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion? Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janine.
Thanks, Jim.
Next, under Area Agency on Aging, Beth Harrell.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Ralph.
I'm asking your approval, you're requesting board's approval to renew our lease with the Diocese of Pittsburgh for the rental of the Ritz Hall in Evans City for the Evans City Senior Center. That center is open 5 days per week, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The rate increase is to $875 per month. The last increase was in 2009, and the term of the lease is from July 1st, 2013 to June 30th, 2014, and there are no county funds involved, and payment is made out of agency block grant.
What is the current rent?
The current rent is $675? Oh, $575, I'm sorry,
We're raising
$575.
$300.
We took on the garbage fee into our rent because the garbage fee went up.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve this? I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
The next item are contract renewals. The first is with Lifeline Systems Company, the contract renewal for the remote monitoring services. There is no rate increase for this renewal.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Information Age Technology provides professional services related to our SAMS, our consumer database used by the Department of Aging. There is no rate increase for this renewal, and the renewal is from June 30th, or July 1st, 2013 to June 30th, 2014.
We have a motion to approve this.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
The next one is with attorneys Pater and Shapiro, providing legal services to older adults through the agency. There is no rate increase for this renewal, and it is from July 1st, 2013 to June 30th, 2014.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
The next one is for Attorney Ron Thomas, who provides legal service to the agency in matters related to protective services. There is no rate increase, and this renewal goes from July 1st, 2013 to June 30th, 2014.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? I will second it. Discussion?
Yeah, Beth, I have a question. How come there's so much difference? There's $50 an hour for the attorneys, Michael Patter and Murray Shapiro, and $70 an hour for Ron Thomas. What are their job classifications, or why is there a $20 an hour difference between the attorneys?
Well, let's clarify what Michael Pater and Murray Shapiro do. They do no cases that involve litigation at all. They are educational services for us. They provide advice to consumers, and they perform assistance with living wills, advanced directives, and power of attorney's advice. The protective services, they go in, assist with cases that may go into litigation, and both of them went out for bid. They're separate bids, and those were the bids that came in for each of the services.
They went out for RFPs.
RFPs, I'm sorry, RFPs.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. I forgot to ask you this again at Monday's meeting, but that's okay. The public can get to hear it too. But okay, so the difference is that now, is this by the hour, just per case, or?
It's by the hour per case.
Yeah, right.
We did on both of these.
looked at 8 surrounding counties and looked what their rates were for the protective service consumers, and we were far less than any county around us for the hourly rate. Some of the hourly rates are around $130.
I appreciate you checking that out.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
And the last one is just all contracts are contingent upon our block grants, and there's no county grants involved. That's all I have.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next, Commissioners, we're asking for the appointment of Kathy Klein to the Solid Waste Advisory Committee to replace Fred Reese. This will be representing the city of Butler. We have your approval.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. A motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
The first item under Commissioners, we have a presentation of the 2012 County Comprehensive Annual Financial Report by Controller Jack McMillan.
Waiting for, actually, always.
Did you give him a half hour, or what's the,
He can take as long as he likes. This is a very important.
I'll begin with page 1 and work my way down to page 300. Interesting. Good morning, Commissioners and members of the public. I am always delighted and honored to present the county's annual financial report. This represents the 20th report issued by my office, and will be my final report as your county controller. I'm pleased also to note the all of the numbers have been independently audited, and for at least a decade now, there have been no findings in our county financial records. That is, I think by most standards, a very laudable accomplishment. For the last 11 years, the county's comprehensive annual report has received the Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. There are only a handful of fourth-class counties and school districts and municipalities in Pennsylvania that qualify for that award, and it is a rigorous examination conducted in Chicago by a review board of the Government Finance Officers Association. Having that in place and being able to produce and demonstrate that level of financial record keeping and the integrity of those said records helps the county in a lot of ways. One of which is it can help your bond rating, and if you are going to borrow money, it's always nice to be able to hand to the rating agency a comprehensive annual financial report that has the GFOA seal of approval. Wouldn't be possible, though. I'm just the one that stands here and gets to take the accolades, but they really deserve, they really go most importantly to the staff of my office, particularly my chief deputy, Deborah Huth, who is just a wonder at all of these ongoing and changing government accounting standards board rules and regulations that have, particularly over the last several years, have really provided the governments and municipalities that have adopted those requirements forces the financial records to resemble those of the private sector. That's a long overdue requirement and speaks to the importance of maintaining good accrual-based accounting records. But I also would like to point out the great assistance the Board of Commissioners provides in production of this document. Amy Wilson and all the staff over there in the Commissioner's office that help, as well as the other departments. And it's a cooperative effort, and I thank you all for that. The report should be available and posted on the website, the full report, I will make a couple just very brief notes on, and I have a handout here that was distributed. If anybody wants a copy, please see me. General fund expenditures totaled for 2012 $53.9 million. They were up about 5.5% from the prior year. Overall expenditures, and I guess this is the point that the public is beginning, I think, to understand that total county government expenditures in 2012 were $142.1 million, up just 1.4% from the prior year. Real estate taxes collected, both current and delinquent real estate, totaled $39.4 million. That was a 1.4% increase from 2011. Our pension fund increased by nearly $20 million in 2012 to $144.1 million. The pension fund's 2012 return, net of fees, was 13.9%, and placed it among the top public pension fund performers, according to our independent pension fund consultant, and is, as of last week, our actuary, who is reviewing all of the 60-some counties that they review, indicated that that 13.9% rate of return was the top of any county in Pennsylvania. So those are the major items, and I invite anybody that has questions or comments. I'm only a phone call away. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. For that report. Please extend our thanks to your staff. You do have a wonderful staff over there, and we appreciate them.
Well, they do a fine job, and you know, they'll be missed. But the report, I do one thing myself, and that's the transmittal letter, and the rest of it, the numbers and everything,
You take the pictures too.
and I take those pictures and I put you in all three. Thank you.
Thanks, and thanks for the good job you do.
And Commissioners, if I may, this being the first time that I've been involved in the production of the CAFR, I'm continually impressed by the professionalism and the difficult work that the Comptroller's Office and the Comptroller accomplished in producing a document of this depth and magnitude, and I'd like to thank the Comptroller for his leadership all these years in producing an outstanding document. Thank you.
I would concur with that, Amy. Jack and I have been friends for a long time. We've had differences now and then, but I have the highest respect for the work that his office and Jack does over there, and we're going to miss him.
Thank you.
The next item under Commissioners, we're asking for approval to issue an RFP for site civil engineering and surveying services for the development of the Magisterial District Justice Office Project in Cranberry Township.
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Is there discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item, approval to issue an RFP for architectural services associated with the MDJ Office Project in Cranberry Township.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? I will second it. Discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
I think I made a mistake here, and I apologize for that. We're on the civil engineer, on the engineering with, weren't we going to delay that?
No,
Until we get RFPs?
that's what we're doing. We're getting RFPs.
Oh, I'm serious, they changed the language, I'm looking at the old one.
Yeah.
I apologize for that. We get one on Monday, we just so people know this, we get an agenda on Monday and Wednesday, and I had the wrong one in my hand, okay? So we did change that, okay?
Yes, we did.
Okay, that's terrific.
So we'll be going out for RFPs on that.
Okay, next item, Amy.
Last, we have the approval of a nomination by the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry of Linda Shell to serve on the Tri-County Workforce Investment Board for a term of office to expire September 30th, 2013.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
That's all for new business, sir.
All right, so we need a motion to approve the budgetary transfers. So moved. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. A motion to approve the new hires. So moved. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. A motion to approve the travel requests.
I'll make that motion.
Seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. A motion to approve the requisitions. So moved.
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Check register, motion to approve that.
I'll make that motion.
Seconded. Those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Reports, Mr. Eckstein.
Okay. Can I go last today?
No. You first.
I'm first. Can I ever go last?
No, you're first. You're number one.
Okay, so let's check it out. Can't blame the guy for trying. First up, I'd like to apologize for something I said at the June 28th Butler, said in the June 28th Butler Eagle. The article was Eckstein versus the lawyers, and the mistake was on page 5. Eckstein said, I'll read the quote, Eckstein said the Bar Association's motivation for Tuesday's action is not to fulfill an ethical obligation. And I stated, I definitely think it's political. He said most people consider the majority of lawyers to be right above used car salesmen. Now, I'd like to apologize to the many used car dealerships in the area. That was an old-fashioned cliche. I'm sure a lot of people have heard that. People at used car lots, when I was a kid, you'd say about the used car dealers. In no way did I want to degrade a lot of honest, hard-working entrepreneurs in the used car market. I've done that. I looked at it later and said, well, that wasn't very nice to them, and I didn't want to do that. So I'd like to apologize to the used car dealers. It was never my intention to lump all the salesmen and used car dealers into one label fits all groups. But I apologize to the used car dealers for that error, okay? Next up, now, while we're on the subject of Eckstein versus lawyers in the Butler Eagle, I'd like to correct a few inaccuracies, I believe, in that story. Now, I realize reporters are allowed to have their opinion, and this is a free press, and I don't doubt that at all. You can come to the conclusions you want to come. You come and you report on this, and I'm not commenting on that. If anybody in the county likes free press, it's Jim Eckstein. Everybody knows that. But I'd like to correct a few things that I don't agree with in the story of Eckstein versus the lawyers. It was stated Commissioner Jim Eckstein. Commissioner Jim Eckstein's claim that jury tampering can occur in a defamation case against him. Let me make this clear to everybody. I never used the word jury tampering in my June 19th speech at the public meeting or in any interview, okay? As far as I know, I never had an interview that was done, to the best of my knowledge, it was only done about what happened here, and it was taped on Armstrong cable, okay, and by myself. The two sources for the public to decide for themselves. It's a great thing now. Armstrong puts it on DVD, and I also have it up on my website now. For the people that don't know this, I'm taping the meetings, and it's on. If you go to www.county.butler.pa.us. I'll read that off again. www.county.butler.pa.us, and you go there and you get on the county website and you click on Jim Eckstein to get to my webpage, and it'll come up as YouTube, so everybody can watch it now and it'll make it much more available. If you don't have Armstrong cable, or if you don't want to watch the whole program, you just want to watch from, by the way, this was done about 40 minutes in. My speech last time was about at the 40-minute mark. It'll be real convenient for you to see the truth. You don't have to believe everything you see in the paper. Make the judgment for yourself. So I'm doing that at all my own cost now. I'm putting that up so people can make their own decision, okay? The June 19th meeting, my public statement is, I'm sorry, after the 40-minute mark I did that. The other thing they said was, I never talked about jury tampering at all. I never said that at all. That is erroneous. Watch the TV tape. You can make the decision for yourself. And then the other thing I thought was that they said, this is really puzzling to me. can you tamper with the jury when there is no jury? Boy, I thought about that, and I go, now they're claiming there's a case, the jury hasn't been picked. Can you tamper with something that hasn't even been picked? Not my knowledge, but there again, the public can decide on it for that. I mean, can you steal somebody's truck when they don't own the truck? I don't know, but the public can make their mind up on that. I never said it, and it never happened, okay? The statement number 2, the story reporter Eckstein said Pinkerton now could conspire with Judge Stewart to taint the jury pool for the defamation case against Eckstein. I never said conspire, never said taint. I even had my assistant check the tape out to make sure. I checked it 3 times and she checked it 3 times. Those words aren't used at all on the tape. I mean, that was, so that never happened. But there again, the public can see it on TV, decide for themselves if that's true or not. Now, and then I love this. I'll get to the part why this is so important. But then they had an editorial on the next day, and Butler Eagle says on the June 20th, Butler Eagle, the title Eckstein attacks Dorr. That wasn't. You know, I just want people to know the headlines aren't the writer. The headlines on these stories are made to get people interested to read and buy the paper, and it's not the person that does the story, okay? Now, what people call an attack is if I come up here and complain about something somebody does, then I guess I attack them. Well, if you want to call that attack, I mean, that's not my definition of attack. You know, if you defend yourself or say what somebody did. But they're allowed to have freedom of speech here. And he complains, there again, the subtitle was, he claims they're conspiring against him. That's their opinion. I never said that on the tape. Watch it. I never said any of that, okay? Luckily for now, we have different media sources, and we don't have to believe. It's not like in the 40s and 50s where you only had one media source, no video. You can make up your own mind. Fourth, the Eagle on June 21st, 13, hires a new editorial writer, TAH. I don't know what his name is. Maybe you ought to sign his name so we get to know his name better. I sign everything I do, okay? Now, maybe the Eagle could take a little consideration there, and when you're going to slander me, you can put your name down and have enough guts to do it. So he puts down TAH. I think he's going to be a good fit for the Eagle because he'll, you know, he does right exactly what the management tells him to. Now, he had 3 claims. There again, Eckstein claims a conspiracy. He probably read this story or, you know, he never called me up to ask me. I never said it, and you never watched the tape because it's not on there. Number 2, he says it's not possible for anyone in any way to alter the jury selection process. The jury pool is derived using a computer system drawing the names from voter registrations, and all of this is done in public. Well, that is news to me. I didn't know any of this was done in public. Maybe the people can call up the current jury commissioners. That doesn't happen. That statement he said, all this is done in public. This is a public meeting. To the best of my knowledge, it does not happen. Maybe he can clarify that with the jury commissioners and write a new editorial. That's not true. And it's not done in public. Finally, you could draw the 3rd commissioner, Bill McCary, into your theory. This is his 3rd claim, that he conspired with Durr to issue a court order directing a sheriff's deputy to be stationed in the commissioner's office. It's true, Mr. McCary said, he discussed with Judge Durr. Sure, they didn't make the final decision. This is their claim. He discussed the actions about more security in the commissioner's office. Their claim is they discussed it together, but they didn't make the final decision together. Try that in front of a judge when you go in front of a judge yourself. That's not going to fly. The judge's not going to believe it, okay? Now, they did do it. It was admitted in public they did it, and that's well known. So maybe he can check out his facts a little more or do a little research before whatever his name is, THC, or I'm not sure because he doesn't use his name. Now back to the Eckstein versus the lawyers rhetoric in the Butler County Bar Association. The Bar Association knows very well that the voters' PA Code of Judicial Conduct is different set of parameters governing judges and lawyers. They know this. Nobody is a lawyer and doesn't know there's not a different statute for lawyers and judges than there is for the regular common citizen. If you try telling me you don't know what that is, and guess what? If the public doesn't know, I put that up on my website. So you know, it's one-stop shopping. You get to go and see the PA Code of Judicial Conduct and see what it says. I'd like to give you a few highlights. I read through 3 points. judges should uphold the integrity and independence of their judiciary. And an independent and honorable judiciary is indispensable and should themselves observe high standards of conduct so that the integrity and independence of the judiciary may be preserved. Does that independence include putting armed guards in another branch, an executive branch of government? Can you imagine if the Supreme Court did this with the House or the Senate? I don't think it includes that. Now, Judge Durr did think that and put out the order and then rescinded it, but I don't think that's independent for the branches of government. Would that fly in the federal government? No, it wouldn't. Number two on the judges should avoid impropriety and the appearance of impropriety in all their activities. The appearance of impropriety. The writer, that is a key factor. They're supposed to be above this, and it's not supposed to look like there's any problems. So it's the appearance. It's not the same as beyond the shadow of a doubt or
10 minutes.
What?
10 minutes, Jim. Okay, thank you, Dale.
I had one paragraph, I can't finish it.
I would like to, first of all, I'd like to congratulate Bill McCarrier for being appointed to the Slippery Rock University's Trustee Commission. He was appointed by Governor Corbett in the Senate just last week, and they have announced that six new trustees, and it's a real honor for Bill to be elected to that and are nominated to it. And it's another reason why Bill carries the character he does and is able to be appreciated as much as he is throughout this state. And the second thing I would like to talk about is on Saturday morning up at the senior high school in front of their administration building, the class of 1968 dedicated a new flagpole, and absolutely, wow. I don't think I've ever seen quite a flagpole that big. But they dedicated it to the Vietnam veterans. And there are two classmates, Robert Glasgow and Dennis Coyle, that are honored at that. And the families were there, and there were about 150 people there. And Mike Kelly was there. Tom King actually is the one that spearheaded the class, and he was in the class of 1968. And the class of 1968 did raise the money and put up the flagpole. And I think it was a real honor to be there, and it was a real honor to honor the Vietnam veterans, and it was for the Vietnam veterans, all of it. So it was really a very nice dedication. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Dale, for those kind words. For the past year and a half, almost every meeting, Commissioner Eckstein has been criticizing me, and in many cases telling lies about me. I was beginning to think that I'm not a very good person, but then I realized that I'm in good company. He's also been criticizing Dale Pinkerton for 5.5 years, and I know Dale's a good person. He has made false insinuations against Billy O'Donnell, and he's denounced Julie Graham, and I know that they are very fine people. He suggested that 4 of our judges are working together against him. He says it's not a conspiracy. I don't know what the proper word would be, but one of them was supposedly in a conspiracy with me, and I know that's not true, completely false. He has found fault with our chief clerk, the register of wills, the treasurer, with many department heads, with numerous other employees of the county, and in many cases publicly ridiculed them in these meetings. And I know that our row officers, our department heads, and all the employees of Butler County are doing a fine and superb job. They're wonderful people, and most of them, nearly 99% of them, are above reproach. They should not have to be subjected to the petty rebukes and insults, especially in a public meeting. That is unprofessional, and it illustrates what a lack of knowledge and management skills that Mr. Eckstein possesses. He has offended the veterans, the last people that ever should be offended. They're the reason we're able to sit here today, because of their sacrifices. He has criticized the leaders of his own party in this public meeting. He has criticized the Evans City Borough Council And these are fine people, doing their jobs, probably not receiving any kind of compensation. Recently, he was quoted in the paper saying that the attorneys are not much better than used car salesmen. Now, today he rebuked that about used car salesmen, so I don't know where that leaves attorneys, Pat. Mike, maybe you're down there somewhere below anybody else, but he's criticized these people. And attorneys are very, very important to our society. We couldn't get along without them. Most of the attorneys that I know are very, very fine people also. They provide vital services that we can't do without. In that same statement, it was in the paper, he said that our county has regressed into a moral abyss. That is an unfounded, untrue, and frankly, a very disgusting statement to make about the people of our county that work here. Could it be that he's just trying to convince the public that he's uncovering problems where there are none? Or could it be that he's trying to make himself look good by making others look bad? I forget who it was, but someone said, you can't build your own house by tearing down your neighbor's. And that would appear to me what he's trying to do. It would appear to me that he's the only perfect person in the county employee. I thought about starting a club, and the members would be those who have criticized or were criticized by Jim Eckstein. But then I realized there isn't a clubhouse big enough in Butler County for us all to meet. So maybe I'm not such a bad person after all. We'll suspend the minutes. Kyla, do you have anything?
I think I'm okay right now. No questions.
Tom?
Thank you.
Oh, I have plenty. Commissioner Pinkerton, you were at the meeting that Commissioner Eckstein is discussing at length. Did you get the impression from what he said that he was accusing you of trying to gain leverage in the defamation lawsuit by potentially conspiring with Judge Durr?
He certainly gave that type of a feeling to me, and I'm sure to the audience.
Do you agree with that, Commissioner McCarrigan?
Yes, I do.
And Commissioner, do you understand, Eckstein, do you understand the difference between when something is in quotation marks and when something is not?
I absolutely understand that.
Okay, so if you're now stating, so you're stating now that what you said does not mean that you believe Commissioner Pinkerton would conspire with Judge Durr to effect the defamation lawsuit through the jury pool. So you're denying you meant that at all?
I'm stating the appearances there. The the code of conduct is the appearance of impropriety. You're saying that you and your story writer said that I'm not allowed. It's the appearance. The statute is not. The statute is not that. It's the appearance of impropriety. I mean, I welcome everybody to read that statute. You know, you can't say, well, I'm not. You know, Dale Pinkerton there, he's got a case in front of the court, and there's no appearance that he's trying, you know, he's trying to get rid of the jury commissioners. There's an appearance there. Who taught me about this was Judge Durr when he took the Saxonburg office, the magisterial office, out. And who made me aware of this is Judge Durr himself. He said that we had to change that office from the borough of Saxonburg to the other office because it could have the appearance of impropriety. So Judge Durr taught me those facts. That's where I learned it. But he's got two standards now.
Well,
Judge Durr's standard for Saxonburg and Judge Durr's standard for Butler County.
Sir, you're saying now you don't believe Dale Pinkerton would conspire with Tom Durr to tank the jury pool?
I believe it has the appearance of impropriety. Okay? That's the standard for the judicial.
You're not answering my question.
Well, I'm not
Do you believe they would do it? If they had the opportunity, do you believe they would do it if they had the opportunity?
I believe that it has the appearance of impropriety, and that's what I'm sticking with it, okay? That's what the conduct rules say.
Well, your train of thought here loses me. If you're saying you are not accusing the judge or the commissioner of any impropriety or planning to do something improper, what are you complaining about? If they're not going to do something improper...
What I'm complaining about is the judicial is not supposed to go to political parties. Judge Durr's not supposed to show up at political parties That's the rules. That's your judicial rules. He violated those rules. He's going going to parties, you know, with the Republican Party. He's not supposed to do that. That is the judicial code of conduct. Read it. I didn't make it up. They set it out. Judge Durr said to me in Saxonburg that was his main point. We took the building away from Saxonburg municipality. There was things we could have done, and he said, we don't want to have the appearance. So I'm sticking with it. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
Well, let's back up a bit. Is there a conspiracy against you or not? There either is or there isn't, Commissioner.
Well, there's the appearance of one. I don't know. People can make their own decision on it. You know, I think the jury commissioners, I've made this statement clear. I didn't reverse my decision from November on the jury commissioners. Okay? When I did the 1% to 2% increase, when they said they did it to save money, we were talking about the 1% increase this year versus 2% in the millage. These guys, didn't even bitch about it at all. I had to bend over backwards. They're saying they did it to save money. Oh, we were doing I wanted the 1% and they wanted the 2%. They're going to say, well, they didn't, but they didn't seem to care about money. That was $1.5 million. I don't believe for 1 minute that the judge can do it for free, okay? I don't believe that. That's, nobody works for free, and if he had a staff member that was free, why didn't he get rid of him a year ago? If he was doing his due diligence and he had somebody who can do the jury commissioner's job. I talked to them thoroughly, and they're working. Nancy Osterling and Bump, they worked. They're working jury commissioners. Some counties, the jury commissioners don't show up. Okay? That is not the case in Butler County. They show up and do hard work and do their job diligently, and I am for that. And I'm not embarrassed about that. That's not a waste of taxpayers' money.
So, as far as why the jury commissioners were eliminated, you're not saying they were eliminated to affect the defamation lawsuit. You're saying you're complaining about it because it looks bad.
Well, I'm saying you could ask them that question. I mean, he changed his mind. I didn't change my mind. He changed his mind and cared. If he didn't care about the 1 to 2% increase, we were at 1.5 million. Didn't care about that. I had to beg him to do something about that. I was in the paper begging him to do something about it. I'm not going to comment to that liar stuff. You can say that all you want. I don't use the word. But anyway, you're entitled to your opinion.
Now, do you deny that today is any type of backpedaling because you're under heat from the Bar Association?
I'm not under any heat. I think it's a joke. When there's 120 lawyers in the Bar Association. 30 showed up at this meeting, okay? Everybody knows what's happening here. 120 lawyers, 30 show up. A lot of the lawyers of Butler County at the Bar Association aren't allowed to bid RFPs. They're not considered. There's not an open bidding process. If you're one of the good old boys, you get the contract. 90 of them didn't show up. That's a 25% turnout for this, what they had there. 1/3 of them won't even take the brochure right through what they handle. I think it's a joke. I'm not worried at all about what the lawyers think. I think they're working on my re-election campaign. That's what I think. I truly think that.
Well, if you don't care what the lawyers think, why did you make your whole speech about them?
Because the Butler Eagle misquoted me on, and people can judge on TV and DVD.
Well, again, Commissioner, a misquote is if something you saw in a quotation marks is wrong.
No, I'm not saying there's not anything, but a lot of people don't
well, that's
think
not
like
a misquote.
that. The only thing that was in quotation marks, there was a lot of things that said that I said it and I didn't say it, and I just pointed that out.
No, it says something, again, you don't understand phrasing.
I didn't know what quotation marks are, Tom. And
well, the lack of quotation marks is called paraphrase, and that's saying the intention. We have just polled the other commissioners, and they came to the same conclusion of comments you made. And if we could go back, I'll look at the book, and I will poll everybody in the room who was at that meeting, and we'll see what they say they thought you meant.
Well, that's what free speech is about.
And
you think that's what I meant? I never said the words.
And let me point out from a recent Eckstein report, you used the language hung jury Now, do you want to explain to me what you think a hung jury means?
That's in the 1880s, and that was, you're taking that out of context. I did use that. I mean, that's not on the open market. I did use that, but that's when I was saying about in the 1880s, or I don't know.
Well, the
when were the jury
report,
commissioners, Larry, when were the jury commissioners, 1860s or?
1867.
1867.
but as I recall, the way you couched it in the Eckstein report is that you were afraid of getting a hung jury, and that's why the jury commissioners were eliminated.
No, I'd read that again. I'd read that again. You can rate it, the Butler Eagle rates anything they want. This is amusing to me, Tom. The Butler Eagle can slander me or defame me any way they want, but when I do it on tape, and I comment, well, it's not even on tape now because this session is not done there, so you can write whatever you want. But when I react to that, then it's not good, okay? If you notice this, the Tribune Review isn't even covering this garbage because it's all garbage. Read in the Trib, there was an article this big. I subscribe to the Trib. They think the whole thing's garbage. They're not even covering it.
Commissioner, you do understand the Trib is based in Pittsburgh.
I do that, but I also know there's a whole section that's 8 pages long that they cover Butler County in the Sunday Trib. Did you see that?
If you were on the Allegheny County Council, believe me, you'd be on the front page of the Trib every day.
Thanks for your sharing that.
And just to clarify something else, Commissioner Pinkerton, in your terms of office, there certainly has been coverage where there have been meetings where you might have been presented in less flattering position from comments that might have been made and the resulting coverage. How many times did you complain about the media coverage of what you might have said or meant to say?
I don't think I ever have.
Commissioner McCarrier, have you in your 2 terms of office?
I think I said something to you one time here in the last year and a half. I remember saying something to you.
And I don't think that was on air, though, was it?
No.
Thank you. So, Commissioner Eckstein, do you deny that you spend, now, granted, there are a lot of people making allegations and complaints about you, so you're responding to a lot of things that are alleged, but do you not deny that you spend more time at the meetings worried about your image than county business?
I'm not worried about my image at all. There again, that's your opinion. I'm not worried about my image. I'm trying to get out what's wrong with county government. Now, obviously, they want to get, the lawyers and basically, where there are a lot of the lawyers come and get no-bid contracts with the county, okay? Make this clear. There are a lot of the no-bid contracts, okay? And if you're friends with these guys, they vote you a no-bid contract. They want it to continue, okay? I want to make it so that all those 120 bar members get a chance at the pie. That's what I want to do. Why doesn't somebody write that? That's what I'm trying to do. I want to get all 120 of them a chance to pie. They're paying select and they're buddies, okay? Is this an accident? I'll let, that Tom King gets all the work or I'll let the public decide that, okay? I don't think the Bar Association, the 75% that aren't getting any of the county work and aren't running the gravy train or the county money trough, they're not happy with the way the system is, okay? They're not happy. Make that public. I've got, 75% of them aren't getting the money. It's not fair bidding process. You're part of the organization and you're there. So that's what I'm complaining about. Then that's what I'm making public. They want it to go on. I don't.
My last question is, I thought you met the new editorial writer at one of the meetings, didn't you?
I met him. He was here. He wasn't at that meeting you wrote about. You recall that.
Right.
He was not here at that meeting. I met him once.
You met him, so he would have told you his name.
Yeah, but, a lot of people tell me their name. We have 750 county employees. I think he has an obligation. I put down my name, Jim Eckstein. I think he can put on his full name and get to be proud of what he does.
Well, that's not what you said. You said during your speech that you didn't know his name. So.
Well, I heard it once, and I met him once here at this meeting. So if you want to, I know you and Carmen or Kayla. It took me a while to know Kayla's name too. I don't mean that to be detrimental, but it takes me a few times.
That's all I have. Thank you for your indulgence.
Thanks, Tom.
Motion to adjourn?
I'd like to, this is County Commissioner Jim Eckstein. I got cut off by Commissioner McCarrier for being over my 10-minute limit when I had one paragraph left. Basically what I was on I didn't want to leave the public not know what I got shut off and I only had a minute to go, which I disagree with, but I'd like to, I was reviewing the PA Code of Judicial Conduct, and I think that's really important because there's a different set of parameters governing judges and lawyers. The Bar Association is very familiar with this. The general public may not be, but I put it up on my website to refresh the lawyers' memories and to better inform the public. So that is up on the website. You look hit on the PA Code of Judicial Conduct, and the whole thing's up there. And I wanted to do 3 points. I was shut down after 2, but I'd like to do the three so that people don't get mixed up on what I was doing. So the points of the PA Code of Judicial Conduct: number 1, judges should uphold the integrity and independence of the judiciary. An independent and honorable judiciary is indispensable and should be themselves observe high standards of conduct so that the integrity and independence of the judiciary may be preserved. Does that independence include putting armed guards in another branch of government's office and degrade and slander county commissioner? I don't think that upholds integrity, and it doesn't uphold the separation of the branches. The second point, the judges should avoid the appearance. Judges should avoid the impropriety and the appearance of impropriety in their activities. I'll read that one more time. Judges should avoid impropriety and the appearance of impropriety in all their activities in a manner that promotes public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the judiciary. These are very important points, and I'd like to have the public know this. Number 3, this is where I got shut down. Judges should be faithful to the law and maintain a professional competence in it. They should be unswayed by partisan interests, public clamor, or the fear of criticism. Now, I'll repeat that line again. They should be unswayed by the partisan interests, public clamor, or fear of criticism of the judiciary. Now, is that what's taking place by the Butler County Bar Association and the judiciary? I don't think it is. I'll let you decide. They are not living up to the standards that are set for them. Judge Tom Durr can ridicule and slander me and threaten me with armed guards, and 25% of the Bar Association comes to his rescue like the cavalry in complete disregards to the rules of the judiciary conduct, state rules. So a couple dozen members can protect their place in the county money trough, and I don't think the other 90% really aren't getting a chance for county business. Only 25%, so the ones that came forward are those few. But I appreciate finishing this for the community. I wanted to go over that because I got shut down. Thank you very much.